So hello, today was an adjusting day here at the office, not a teaching day. My schedule was filled up and I only had time to adjust each person. Today I was turning on the power, freeing the nerves, calming those fried brain waves. What I didn't have time for was helping people recognize their brain impairment, and I don't take that lightly. That means people have some type of nagging or recurring interference, and that's what came up in conversation today. Low energy, forgetfulness, shortness of breath, pain with walking, generally what's been going on today. So for the brain impairment, I'm not saying it's the end of the world or this is a rush to the hospital, because it's not really something treated medically. This is lifestyle stuff that you can do to help reduce the stress on your brain. So I call it 4 means more, meaning more health struggles because your brain is overwhelmed. If your brain is overwhelmed, these are the 4 things. Fatigue, and I include shortness of breath with that, stiff joints, digestive issues, and anxiety, and that anxiety also includes when you're anxious over memory problems, because people talk about that a lot. They are nervous and upset about confusion, not being able to remember names or remember things that they know should be on the top of their head, and then there's anxiety over that, so it kind of compounds itself. So the brain is overwhelmed, and we've got to get the brain back in balance. If you recall, in my office I have a new sign hanging up that says you can't be in a state of growth and defense at the same time. It just doesn't exist. Healing is not prioritized by the brain if it's in survival mode. And if you think about that, that's pretty much how it is all over in nature. The survival mode, when it takes precedence, there's no resting, there's no reproduction in the animal world, and there's not a lot of healing. It's a lot easier to get out of survival mode when you take care of your brain. So getting out of survival mode, meaning turning down that fight or flight response, getting more balance back into your life. So 3 things that I focus on: move your brain, feed your brain, and talk to your brain. So I call them my 3 areas of concentration for nurturing the brain, so it takes good care of you. Depending on the person I'm working with, certain areas need to be addressed a little more intensively than others. So it's an individual basis, and it just depends what are they more interested in focusing on at the moment. And so on adjusting days, we move the brain by adjusting the spine. If you remember, the spine is that access point I have to resetting the brain. So for the spinal bones will stimulate the spinal nerves, heads right up to the brain, and we are recharging the brain waves. We're actually calming them down. On the teaching days, when I have more time with folks, I focus more on feeding the brain. And the peeps in my office know that I'm completely sold on the keto diet. Not everyone is as sold as I am, so the quick intro I can give you here is this. You've got to pick your fuel. So there's clean fuel, there's dirty fuel, and then there's a multi-purpose special ingredient that maintains your body. So keep that in mind. I'm going to review that in another episode, and I'll touch base on that some more. But when you understand those 3 things, the picking your fuel, these barriers to the dietary changes are removed. So that's in an upcoming episode. So for the folks I haven't had time today to do a little more individual work with, hang on, watch the videos, read the blog, look at the handouts that you've been getting at your previous visits. And let's review the things that we covered when we did the neurodigestive stress test and the metabolic anoxia test. So these are just some questionnaires that I use to help us figure out where do we need to address the ways we can properly fuel the body. So this was a on the spur of the moment episode 4 of Brain Snob, and I'm glad you're here. I want to continue to dive into a better future with a better brain. So learn how to move your brain, feed your brain, talk to your brain. Here's what you do. You visit the office, you read my blog. It's called createpurpose.com. Watch that orientation video. Start a conversation in the comments section of this video. Hit the subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. Look for that next episode. It's coming soon. It's in the works up here in my brain. So become a brain snob and be a positive ripple effect in your community. Thanks for watching.